In this video, I have a bruising battle by pitching a makeup artist against Photoshop.
Adorama TV presents Take and Make Great Photography with Gavin Hoey.
Hello, I'm Gavin Hoey and you're watching Adorama TV, brought to you by Adorama, the camera store that has everything for us photographers. Now, I've done years of portrait photography, and one thing that I've discovered is almost always true is makeup. The better the makeup on your model, the better the pictures look, the less time retouching in Photoshop you tend to spend. Thing is, I rather like Photoshop. So when it comes to extreme makeup, which is better, a makeup artist or Photoshop? Well, that's the challenge I'm going to resolve today by doing the same shoot twice, once with makeup and once without. So I'm joined in the studio today by Roger, who's going to be my model. Now, you can do amazing things with both makeup and Photoshop, but because this is a battle, I thought we'd have a real fight. So Roger, well, he's about to be beaten up by a makeup artist. Sorry about that. But before we get to that, I'm going to take some shots without any makeup so I can Photoshop them, and then we'll repeat the whole process with the makeup on. Okay, let's get the lights set up. As this isn't so much a video about lighting, I'm going to keep this really simple. I've got one speed light here, this is the Streetlight 360, and it's in a small softbox. Now I'm going to try and do exactly the same lighting for both setups, so keeping it simple with one light should help. Okay, let's take a couple of shots. Okay, so Roger, first of all, just a standard headshot, so it looks straight at the camera. Perfect. Okay, now can I ask you just to look up towards the softbox? Can you look just sort of towards the edge here? That's great. Okay, then just look down towards the floor. And then you're going to bring your eyes back to me on 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. That's good. Okay, and then we'll just try with the gloves. So that's it. Put the gloves up. Excellent. One more like that. For the makeup side of things, today I've been joined by Anna, who is a makeup artist extraordinaire, and she's going to add some serious bruising to Roger's face. Now, makeup takes time, and Photoshop takes time as well, and that's going to be an interesting comparison. So, Anna, away you go.
Okay.
To be honest, I'm fairly sure that Anna's going to do a better job with the makeup than I'm going to do here in Photoshop. However, I do have a little trick up my sleeve. You see, with Photoshop, I can add swelling to the face really easily. And unless your makeup artist also does prosthetics, that is something that's much harder to do in the real world. So let's see how I'm going to swell up Roger's face. So this is the picture. It was a raw file, and I've done some basic processing and tidying up. And to create the swelling, I need a new layer. So let's go to Layer, Duplicate Layer, so I get an exact copy. Then for the swelling effect, it's Filter and Liquify. Now Liquify is a brilliant filter. As the name suggests, it literally turns the image to liquid, and you can use various tools to manipulate it. Now I'm going to use either the Forward Warp tool and probably more likely the Bloat tool. The Bloat tool, as the name suggests, allows me just to bloat everything up here, and with little clicks I can just add some swelling like that, and I can just swell underneath the eyelids and make them all sort of puff up a little bit, just like you'd been in a boxing match. Obviously, the more time I spend here, the more swelling I would get out of this shot. And there we go, that looks pretty good. I'm happy with that. Now my other tool is going to be the Forward Warp tool, and for this I can use it just to sort of close the eyelid down slightly. Same thing applies, little clicks, little nudges, small pushes, just to try and maintain the shape a little bit, pulling everything down. There we go, because that's all swollen up, it's all closing down the eye. Okay, just like that, gently does it, small clicks. Okay, and of course I could do the other side as well. I'm really only going to do one eye because, well, time is going to beat me otherwise, I suspect. I reckon we could add a bruise on his forehead as well. That would look quite good. Let's get the Bloat tool, and we'll use the fact that it's nice and shiny just there, just to sort of swell everything up, because that'll help with the natural lighting. And we'll go for a big circle as well as a small one, and that should really help to raise that bruise up. So yeah, now he looks like he's got a real shiner and a real bruise on the forehead. I'll click OK. So that has given us some lovely swelling on the face, but if I go in close, it's also distorted the eye. So to fix that, I'm just going to add a layer mask in there. I'm just going to get a paintbrush, make sure my brush opacity is nice and high, and that I'm using a normal round shaped paintbrush. And I'll just sort of paint on the eye just as neat as I can, just to bring that area back through and bring the original eye back in. So it looks like it's swollen up, but he's still looking at me. So that's the basic swelling. What about the bruising? Well, the bruising is simply a matter of painting colour. Now the colours are important, so bruises are purple, red and yellow, so those are the colours I'm going to paint on. Time spent doing this will always yield better results, but let me give you a quick overview. So of course I'm going to do this on its own layer. That's always a good way to go. I'm going to start with a nice sort of purpley tone, so I'll choose a paintbrush that's sort of a bruisey purple, nice dark purple, something like that. Now the shape of my brush isn't going to be the standard round. I'm actually going to make my own custom brush by clicking on the brush panel and choosing one of these standard brushes. I'm going to go for one of these spotty ones, this one right here with size 43 written next to it. I'll just push up the spacing slightly, and I'll come to the shape dynamics and just put everything anywhere where it says jitter. I'm going to increase it just to randomize it. Same with the scattering as well. We'll scatter and move that around a little bit. There you go, something like that. I'll even come down and add in a dual brush effect. I quite like this grassy one because it adds some nice sort of edges to everything, and it makes it much more organic rather than a digital edged brush. So that's fine, I'm happy with that. Let's go back to the layers, and I'll change the layer blending mode to overlay. Now either overlay or multiply are the blending modes I'm going to use, but I'm always going to take the opacity from my paintbrush, that's the paintbrush, not the layer, down to 25% and then paint gradually. And the reason I'm doing that is the more I paint, the darker it becomes. So I can build the effect up rather than having to do it just in one go. Lots of small brushes are the way to go and build the colour up in lots and lots of effectively layers. Now, of course, this is the bit that really takes the time. Same with the makeup, it's going to take time to layer this up and make it all look convincing. So, thanks to the magic of video, I'm going to speed along. And I think that's probably about right. So there we are, that's taken me about 20 minutes to do. So let's go see how Anna's doing. Well, there we are, about 25 minutes, and Anna has transformed Roger completely. He looks like he's had a really rough time of it, and it is completely different to my Photoshop stuff as well, and that's fantastic. Of course, we've got to see how the makeup works under lighting, so let's set the same shots up again and repeat the shoot. Let's start you off by looking straight at me. Perfect, okay. Then looking up towards the light. Brilliant. And looking down at the floor. And bringing your eyes back to me. Fantastic. Chin up slightly. Brilliant. And finally, let's give it a pose. Aggression. Yeah. Brilliant. One last one. Real anger. Yeah, perfect. With both sets of pictures now completed, I think I can say with some confidence, there's not really a winner here. Yes, in Photoshop I could do things myself, and even things the makeup artist would find tricky. But with makeup, once it's done once, it's done for the entire photo session, and that is a massive time saver. Not only that, if you look close, the makeup really holds detail, and sometimes Photoshop isn't quite that good. So for me, it boils down to this. If you've got 1 or 2 pictures to do and Photoshop is your tool of choice, it can really work well. But if you have access to a really good makeup artist, they can come up with ideas you hadn't even thought of, elevate your photography to a whole new level, and frankly, a makeup artist is really hard to beat. Now, if you want to see more videos from myself and the other amazing presenters here on Adorama TV, you know what you've got to do. You've got to be clicking on the subscribe button. I'm Gavin Hoey. Thanks for watching.
Do you want great looking prints at low cost? Be sure to visit our easy to use online printing service. Adorama Pix has professionals who treat your images with the utmost care that you can count on. For a quick turnaround on photos, cards, or albums, use adoramapix.com.